Hey, so I have a new foundation to test out, so I thought I'd do a little video. And it's the NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation Fondant Corrector, and the shade is Patagonia Medium 1-2. So I've never used this shade. Usually when I've got like a fake tan on, I'm like between Punjab and Barcelona. But this looks a little bit paler than that. But I just wanted to try a new shade anyway, so I'll just work with what I've got. My fake tan is fading a bit anyway, so I never know, it might be good. But this is my skin. I have got some spots come through. Hormones and stress and being busy and not looking after myself. Oh, by the way, how nice are these lashes that I'm trying today? They was quite longer, but I cut them short, so they're more outer edge. But yeah, so that's a little close-up of my skin. I have cleansed, toned, moisturised, and I've also gone in with Bobbi Brown Face Base as kind of my base. So it's kind of just another moisturiser, but I'm using it and as the base, because lately I've not been using as many bases. I do usually like bases, but sometimes with foundations it can really go in the favour of the foundation, or sometimes it could go against it. So I thought testing a new foundation is going to be best without it. So it's quite liquidy, and I've done a small little blob on my palette. I'm probably going to end up needing more, but just to go over it, it says the new take on matte, comfortable 16-hour wear, full natural looking coverage, true colour oxidization resistant, let's hope so, transfer proof and shine proof. So someone mentioned the other day they want a foundation that's transfer proof, because their partner's mixed race, and when they kiss and cuddle and stuff, she transfers onto him and he hates it. So I will test this today and see if it's transfer proof as it says, and I'll let you know. It says for normal, combination and oily skin type. So I'm quite normal, but I'm quite dehydrated. So that's, and the fact it says an oily skin, I'm quite the opposite of that. However, when I'm really busy, I do release a lot of oil as well. So I am quite a mixed bag with my skin. So a lot of foundations usually suit me, or I don't mind if it gets that like sheen anyway. So I am a bit worried in case this is too drying for my dehydrated skin. So we'll see. So yeah, I'll apply it now. I'm just using this flat-headed brush. To be honest, most of my foundation brushes are dirty, so this was just a clean one. But I do like these kind of brushes because I can cross-hatch as I apply, which I like to do. That helps to get in your pores sometimes. So obviously I've done my eye makeup, I've done my brows, done my lips. I wanted to have a quite complete look quite quick. So I've done them first. So I've got to go around them, which can be a bit tedious and annoying, but in fact this brush is perfect to do that. So, and sorry, I do have to look down a lot because my mirror's down there. The colour is definitely a bit paler than what I am in some areas, but see if a bit on there. That is actually a good undertone for me, although my redness is showing through. For the tan, it's probably a touch lighter. But I don't mind, I can contour and bronze anyway. So but so far it does look quite natural on there. It's definitely matte. Like I felt like obviously I was quite glossy and shiny from my skincare and the primer, well, moisturizer primer, and this feels like it's immediately took the shine away. But yeah, it's hid obviously the redness and the blemishes really well. Like that spot I had down there is kind of gone. But yeah, let me do one layer and then I can see if anywhere needs building up. Because this brush, it does kind of absorb a lot of product, so I've used quite a lot of that product that I'd put on my spatula. I hate going around brows. I don't know who does brows first all the time. Like, you must have too much time on your hands, because it just, I hate having to go around makeup. It's so tedious. I mean, I am used to it with the eyes anyway, because I'm a sort of person who usually does eyes first, but to go around the brows as well just feels like it's going to take too long. But I do get it, like when you get that kind of neat brow effect, like it does look amazing. Can make the brows look so good. Oh god, that's so tedious and difficult. Usually I just go all over the lips, but I can't today. If anyone's wondering, on my lips I've got Spice lip liner by MAC, and then a lip liner by Vive, the new Jamie Genevieve brand, and then I went on top with a bit of Jeffree Star matte liquid in, is it Christmas Cookie? And then on top of that I went in with a glossy, like glittery, really cute gloss from Too Faced, which are gorgeous, glittery, yeah, like glosses basically. I love them. And then I just arrived in the post as a Morphe Bite Me lip liner, so I've then even just gone around the edge to darken it with that. I've been wanting to try them lip liners for ages, but they're always out of stock, so I'm so happy that they're finally in stock for me to try. Okay, I've nearly run out of the product on my spatula, which is good because that little blob has gone all over my face, even though at first I thought it wasn't going to. I do need some more because I still need to go around the brows. I'm going to really try and do a tiny little bit because I think it is going a long way. So off camera, what I can see, it does look smooth. I look filtered. It looks blurred. Obviously it's a bit pale. I mean, this is probably my natural colour actually at the minute. This is quite a good colour for my natural, but it's not as deep as my tan. But yeah, in the mirror, I'll do a close-up soon. I feel like I still see my pores, but that's, I've got quite enlarged pores because my skin is dehydrated because I like too many wines. And so that's quite normal for me actually. So for me, how it's looking, I would say I wouldn't need to powder it all over, which is good because I'm 34 now, and at my age, less powder is the better on my skin, which unfortunately I'm finding out like this recent year or so. I'm having to wear a lot less makeup than I would used to because I just don't feel as comfortable with as much on anymore. It just doesn't sit on my skin as nice, which I'm gutted because I used to love all the bright under eyes and all that stuff. So yeah, if I've got a flawless foundation and it stayed flawless but didn't need powdering, that's also obviously saving product, but it's also going to make my skin look a lot better throughout the day. So I feel like it's actually, let me just close up before I sponge it in. Ew, what's that bit of dead skin? Winter skin. Hang on a minute. Yeah, I feel like it's dried down really quick already. I probably should sponge it then before it's too like fully set or whatever. But I don't feel like it massively needs me to do this part, but I'm just so used to doing it with my foundations that I feel weird if I don't do it. And I just want to see the effect it gives. So this is obviously already a damp sponge. It's not making much of a difference. Sometimes I feel like if there was extra product still not blended in my skin, this will just pat it in that bit further and it can smooth it even further. But yeah, I do feel like this is already dried down. This reminds me a little bit of Marc Jacobs, if anyone likes the Marc Jacobs Remarkable one that I recommended ages ago. That's a full coverage and can go quite matte as well. It reminds me of that a little bit, but this is actually considerably a lot cheaper. I don't think it's as smoothing as that, but I don't know whether it's because it is so matte, it can show the texture a little bit more. But then also I'm just not used to so matte on my skin, and usually with the Marc Jacobs I put a really hydrating base on, so to take away the matteness a little bit. So you can still see my pores around here, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, I know I've not got the most horrendous skin or anything. So let me see now how products layer up on top. Because it is pale, I'm going to go in with a NARS darker shade, not NARS, sorry, Tarte. So this is a concealer. Get rid of that chin. This is in Deep, so I'm just going to use this as my kind of contour bronzy colour, and just to bring colour into this shade. And this is an Illamasqua flat brush. This is quite cool, like you kind of get good pressure with it, and also it doesn't spread out too far if you're trying to get specific contour areas. Also, if you actually put that in a gel product, you can just kind of sweep it down and it will keep your lines thin. So this is quite a cool brush actually. See, like here. So I know I just literally flicked my brush. I know it looks nuts at the minute. Just give it just trust the process and keep blending. Okay, so I like to contour around here because like you can almost instantly see I've got a longer chin now. And I just like that look. I hate this, like, I need it pinching. Oh, who wants a facelift? Like, oh, I'd love a facelift. Look how when I do that to my mates, they think I'm nuts. Okay, because the foundation is quite set and dry already, it's taken a bit of time, I feel, to blend on top. Usually like a dewy foundation, obviously this would just glide a lot more. I've obviously got a quite dense brush as well, which will also slow that process down. But some people would just do this with a beauty blender, but I'm not the biggest fan of blending with beauty blenders because I feel like they can go a bit further than you need. Like you can spread the product further than you need, whereas this I could be a bit more precise. Okay, so that's most of it done with the brush, but then now I am going to soften it with a beauty blender. I mean, it's obviously already got some of the product on there from before, but I've also just dabbed it in any excess that was on the palette. But I must say the foundation on the palette as well that I put on, the little dot, that's dried on the palette as well. Most foundations would still be quite wet on the palette at this point. So that is fast drying, fast setting foundation, I'd say. So as you can see, the sponge with probably a little bit of product is just helping blend any harsh edges. And that colour is becoming more like a bronzery colour now. Probably a little bit deep for this foundation colour, but because I am tanned, like, kind of get away with it. But I'm not going anywhere anyway, so I don't care. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm happily playing right now, and that's what matters. Well, I've got to do school run, but I stay in the car anyway because now she's old enough to walk from the building to the car. Okay, so that's with that blended on top. it's not removed anything, it's not made anything patchy. So I might as well carry on as if I'm just finishing my makeup so you can see the finished look and stuff. So I'm going to go in with some concealer. This is the Stay Naked Corrective Concealer, and this is 40NN. I absolutely love this concealer. I do love my Tarte as well. But like I said, as I'm getting older, I'm noticing I can't wear as full up coverage items. But I can still get away with the Tarte, but I'm just saving that more for special occasions anyway. It's a bit harder to get and expensive. Although I bet they've got some good Black Friday sales on, so everyone needs to check it out if they have. But yeah, I do like that. It seems to have lasted me quite a while, which is good. So sometimes I do actually like to leave this for a minute before I press it in, but I'm just going to go in with it now. And ideally with a sponge that's a little bit more pointy, where you can get right under the eye. So I'm just going to go in with my brush to kind of blend right under. If anyone wanted to know what is on my eyes, I just literally used the Hoola Benefit bronzer in the light and caramel in the crease. And then I went in with some Urban Decay kind of warm tone browns just on the outer edge. Then on the lid I used a Peaches and Cream, a pigment. And then on top of that I used the Kitten Calmer by Stila. But my Kitten Calmer is drying out and it was brand new as well. So obviously it's brand new at the beginning of the year. And because it's been left and not used, I'm absolutely gutted it's drying out and it's not cheap. Probably should look at the Black Friday sales really to see if they've got any on offer, but I've got that many glittery pigments, I just need to start using them. I just like this Stila because it's ready to go. It's a gel and it dries on your eye, whereas all the pigments obviously have to do a base and things like that, and it can be tedious. So I literally, what was I going to say, the Urban Decay concealer is also self-setting, so it's a bit like this foundation, and you shouldn't need to powder that as well, but I'm gonna, because I do like a bit of a brighter under eye and I feel like powders help achieve that without going too light with the concealer. So I'm mixing Huda Beauty's a Cupcake, which is kind of a pinky tone, and Pound Cake, which is a yellowy tone. I'm mixing them two together, so I'll end up with a kind of peachy tone, but you won't be able to tell. It's obviously going to go quite invisible, but those kind of shades have brightening properties for the under eye. They colour correct any blue and dark shadows, or meant to. So yeah, I love those kind of colour powders for the under eye. It's more than likely either Kim Kardashian under eyes and any celebrity kind of bright under eyes, they achieve that. So I'm just patting that in. Just going to use any excess in the T-zone areas. That's usually obviously where people would usually get quite oily. Spiral lines as well. I'm just going to, I mean, this is probably off the sponge now, but if there's any excess, I just want to keep going over. Just keep blending. So this is it so far. What do you think? apart from my bronzer not being so blended. Probably one complaint I've got is more I think about it, it was quite difficult to blend products on top. But to be honest, this is not the best blending brush either. That's more to get your shape. So next I'm going to use some bronzer, some actual powder bronzer. Really get this colour a bit more matched all over. I have obviously got lights on, so I don't know if they're making me look a bit more pale, but I don't know if it's coming across pale. But yeah, so I'm going in with the same bronzer that I used on my eyeshadow, and using the caramel hoola, not the light one, because I do want to look tanned. I am meant to be tanned. Just on a big Peaches and Cream brush. Oh yeah, back to my eyes, I used a Maybelline eyeliner and gel brush, the Steeler, and then the lashes, these are from Primer Lash, and it was a fluffy lash and I've just cut down. So yeah, bronzer, no brainer, you know where to put bronzer. And if you don't, then you need to book a lesson with me, because you should know. So I like to do it on the apples of my cheeks. I've got quite high cheekbones. And then obviously on the forehead. So I'm kind of going over that undertone bronzery contour concealer, but also bringing it a bit more down and stuff. A bit more as if where the sun would naturally hit. The sun would naturally hit your high points on your face, which is the top of your brow, down your nose, and on those cheekbones. Do a bit of chin as well, and then I'm just going to go over the edges of stuff. I mean, I've really picked up, like you can see, I'm not absolutely covered in products. I've picked up ever so lightly. I do like to drag out the eyeshadow further into the temple. And with me, because I'm quite nuggety down here with my nose, I like to focus a lot more on the end of my nose. It should help contour it that little bit. If you ever feel like you've gone over too much, just go back in with the sponge, with the existing kind of product in, and just go over any areas, pressing it in more. It's all about the blending. Still feeling a little bit pale, so I've not tapped in there for a while. It's just got slight excess product on, so I'm just going over. I just basically like kind of the center area to look brighter and the outer edges to look more contoured and tanned. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so skin wise, oh no, I need a bit of blusher. I've just kind of got this orangey, see if you can see it. I'm just using my bronzer brush, just being lazy, like this orangey colour. Illamasqua blusher. It's years old and I've depotted it, so it's like in something like that now, so I don't know what shade it is, but I'm just going to go that on the apples of my cheeks. It's quite a nice peachy orange deep tan tone, so it is good if you want a bit of a blush but you want to look tan still, so it's not like too pink or red or anything, or mauve. But I do love a bit of blush. I don't know how people can live without blusher, but the tone goes well with my eyes, it goes well with my lips, it goes well with my hair. But yeah, Illamasquas can be so pigmented, so you really don't need a lot of product. That's why I'm just continuously working it in, patting it in. And then if there's any left, on my nose and forehead. So then now I'm going to go in with Morphe setting spray all over the face. feels lovely. But before that officially sets down, seeing as it's Christmas month coming up, I've got a bit of bling on the lips and the eyes. I'm going to go in with Illamasqua's Epic highlighter. This is quite dark actually. It's a bit dark for me. It would have suited when I was a bit more darker level of tan, but I still want it because I love it. Look, no, that doesn't look too dark at all actually. But if you like a blinding highlight and you haven't got this, you need to get it. I do find, obviously, like you see me spray first, it does wear better with either a wet brush, spray brush, or wet the skin. So as it is a matte foundation, I'm just putting in a few areas I wouldn't mind a bit of glow come in, and then I'm going to stop, because there's a point where you should stop with your highlighter, even though it's hard. So then let's have a look at the finished look. So obviously I'm going to look a bit wet at the moment, trying to get the best light for you. Possibly a bit wet and shimmery because of the highlighter and the spray. But skin wise, that is what it's like. So this is just it under a different light. This is my like kind of beauty lights that are a bit yellow. Ignore my messy wardrobe in the background, it needs sorting out. I just wanted to show a different kind of ambient setting. But yeah, skin does look smooth actually. I could tell I've got makeup on, so it is a little bit heavier for what I've been wearing lately, because I've been wearing a lot of tinted moisturisers. So yeah, it is definitely a makeup-y kind of foundation. But I'm excited to see how the day goes and how it wears. So I'm going to show you this foundation. And then this is in the makeup light kind of light, which is meant to be the most natural light you can get for a fake ring light kind of thing. But yeah, I thought I'd show you this, so close up. I probably shouldn't have put highlighter on so you can see the foundation more, because that's quite distracting. But yeah, I think so far so good. It looks nice. It's definitely matte, like I can feel, I don't know, it's got like a scent, just a matte feel to it. So I'm just going to see how it wears. So it's been 2 hours, so I just come upstairs, so I thought I'd have a little look. I prefer it now than when I did it straight away, because it's kind of got this natural skin glossiness coming through. I have been rushing around like mad, so that's why that is coming through. I'm not just sat chilling. I am working up a sweat a little bit. So yeah, it's not too oily. Like this to me is a nice dewy look to it. So it's quite surprising considering it's meant to be like a stay matte thing, because as you can see it's not all matte. But I think yeah, obviously I put a bit of highlight here and on here, but yeah, you can still see like where it's quite dewiness is still coming through in the areas I've not put the glow. So yeah, it is the foundation as well, go with my skin. Later, if it gets too glossy, I might powder it, see how well it goes with a bit of powder. But yeah, I'm quite liking it. On my chin it looks a little bit dry, even though the sheen's coming through. But I find that with some matte foundations, they can go quite peely, cakey quite easily. So you do have to sometimes either really work into your skin, or get a good primer with it, or apply a little product, or just be really oily for it to suit you. So yeah, I just wonder how like long wear this will be. So I'm still working, I've got loads to do, so it'll be a good test today. Oh yeah, transfer proof. Let's make sure my hands are clean. don't think I can actually see any. It feels like a little bit sticky, like you can tell I've got product on. But also looking in the mirror, in the camera, it's not come off actually. So I think a little bit more come off on my hand there, just you can see. So that is quite a good transfer proof one actually, and I didn't even powder it. So if you're oily, you could powder before, use this and then powder after, set and spray, and it'd probably be quite transfer proof. So yeah, I was quite impressed with those transfer tests then. Okay, so it's been 8 hours and this will be my last check-in, purely because I'm just ready to like take it off at this point. Been a stressful day, but it's not too bad. That's where my lips have touched down from eating. It's revealed more and more of my skin texture, like the pores. I think that's from the fact it's so matte that it's just drawing any oil and stuff out of my skin, so it's just making me look even more dehydrated, unfortunately, at this point. But the oils aren't there still. I still look as like the satiny gloss that I looked earlier, like the healthy skin glow, which was good. So it wasn't too matte looking, but I can just tell the texture of it is some of it just look a bit dry and cakey. It's not how I want a foundation to look on my skin. So for me, I would still stick with Pro Longwear, and that's just my personal preference, and that's just still my favourite over this one. But it's still NARS, and I love NARS, and I actually can't wait to try this on someone who loves matte skin. Definitely someone younger as well, with maybe oily to normal skin. But yeah, I look rough in this light now. I've touched my face a lot and not too much has come off. It still looks reasonably well. If I went upstairs and touched this up, I could probably bring it back to life and make it look a lot better by adding like a powder foundation or just powder, touching over with the sponge and things like that. I think it could actually still look quite good. See, like from here, I still look quite, you know, flawless. It still looks nice, but just close up you need to see what's going on. I hate going close up, I look rough. But these lashes though, on the other hand, I am loving. They might be my new favourite, especially for like a day wear anyway. But yeah, I do feel like my skin and pores have just gone opened up to suck this foundation in, so I do just feel a bit dry and old. So what do you think, guys?